My name is Talia Lefkowitz, and I'm a member of the board of the Zamir Choral Foundation. I've been part of the Zamir family since 7th grade when I joined Hazamir Manhattan, and I've been singing along ever since. What I love the most is that it is so much more than a choir. It's really a Jewish youth movement. It's bringing together American and Israeli teens from so many different backgrounds and uniting them in love of Israel, love of Jewish people, and love of music. In a time when we so desperately need to be investing in the future of the Jewish people, there's no organization that's doing it better than Zamir.
I was a young person once too, as we all were, and I remember the excitement of singing. And when I started conducting the Zamir Choral, people were in their 20s, but I also understood the value of high school age singers singing. And I made it my business as part of the Zamir Choral Foundation to create Hazamir, which is a teen program. This year is our 29th year, next year is our 30th year. And it's a matter of having students who are not necessarily affiliated with any movement or anything like that. We have chapters in 40 cities across Israel and the United States. I call them chapters because they're learning the same repertoire, they're learning the same text. And choral music, of course, is so valuable because it engages both sides of the brain. One side of the brain is dealing with the text and absorption in an intellectual way, and simultaneously, the emotional aspect of the music is really attracting the person. So when you're getting the message, and when the music and the text agree, or even if they disagree intentionally, it goes on what we used to call the hard drive of, now that's passé, of course, but it goes deep down, and it really is an unforgettable thing. And kids love to sing, and we allow kids to sing, and we really train them well. Singing in a choir is a very unifying experience. A choir is a paradigm of community. You have better singers and less better singers. And there's like in a baseball team, you have the guys who bunt the runners across, and you have the RBI guys. And it's a combination, it's real teamwork. And very often the people who are less talented innately are the ones who work the hardest, and they have a deeper connection often to the text. And it's a marvelous way in which people don't care about, it used to be transdenominational was the big thing. Now it's transpolitical. So people who live in their different silos forget about it. Because as my wife, who is the director of Hazamir, will say, we only care about sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses. So we leave all the other things behind. And people, they get more than that, and I'll tell you why. Because we're a very challenging organization in the sense that we believe in excellence. Toscanini said, tradition is just the last bad performance. I thought he was talking about Jewish music and other forms of music, but excellence really can be taught. And our experience is that when you really put a challenge out like that to teens, they thrive on it. They'll always meet your expectation because there's something innate about wanting to achieve. And we had a great experience when we sang in 2017 at the Metropolitan Opera House. So 450 teenagers, Jewish teenagers, on the stage at the Met. And while I'm off stage, the crew off stage are saying to me, they're so professional. We have not seen a teen group or even an adult choir behave this professionally. And it's all about the training. It's all about, what happens if you're on stage and a tarantula crosses your face? Nothing. You just stand there and wait for your entrance. Well, we do a lot of contemporary music, either composed music or Israeli or sometimes popular music, because we like to have as much variety in our performances, not only the teens, but for the adults, the adult Zamir Choral, and we have a program called the North American Jewish Choral Festival, which is now going to be its 35th year, where we have hundreds of Jewish choral singers and non-Jewish choral singers come together because they love music. As one of our great fans who is a Unitarian says, I thought all music would be the same because all roads lead to the one God. But Jewish music is different. Jewish music has memory. You can be sure Elie Wiesel would agree with that remark. And so we like to sing music from all spheres, and the text is ancient text, contemporary text, and we have a whole commissioning arm of the foundation where we've commissioned now 35 pieces of music. And two pieces kind of stand out for me that I talk about. Well, three of them. One of them is Megillat HaAtzmaut, which is the Israeli the Declaration of Independence. Then a piece that was commissioned by us of one of our Hazamir, that's our teen program, alumni, who is an incredibly talented singer. Now he's studying opera in Florida somewhere. And he chose as his text the famous speech by David Ben-Gurion in 1956, Banegev Yibachain. In the Negev, the Israeli people will be tested as to their commitment because the Negev will have to be developed for the state to exist. So that's another important text that we commissioned. And a few years ago, before COVID, I commissioned a piece called Im Eina Nili Nili, which is Hillel's famous, Rabbi Hillel from the 3rd century's famous statement, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I'm only for myself, what am I? And that is really the message that I think our teenagers need to learn. The balance between what's good for me and what's good for the other. And not only in a personal way, but in a political way as it relates to Israel and its neighbors. This is, and we teach that lesson with joy and music, so the teens are able to absorb it, the adults as well are able to absorb the message, because the piece is written where the parts are fighting with each other. At the same time, no, Nili, no, Emani Rakla Atzmi Ma'ani. And so that's a very valuable lesson.